Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is Rheina Sasmita with student ID number 210705013. I'm study at University of Sumatera Utara. In this opportunity for my linguistic final examination, I will be doing a presentation about forensic. What is forensic? So, forensic linguistics is a branch of linguistics that analyzes and examines linguistic aspects as a tool of evidence in courts and the legal field. The term of forensic linguistics first appeared in 1968 when a linguistics professor, John Starfrick, used it in the context of reviewing the statements of Timothy John Evans, a Welsh truck driver who was sentenced to death by a British court on the alleged murder of Geraldine Evans, a 13-month-old baby girl who was his own daughter. The application of linguistic methods to legal issues is one of the functions of forensic linguistics as an applied science where various linguistic theories can be applied in linguistic analysis in an investigative process. Previously, it could be argued that forensic linguists apply linguistic knowledge and techniques to language samples involved in a case or legal process or a private relationship between parties which may at a later stage result in legal action. The field expertise and research of forensic linguistics include voice identification, author identification, discourse analysis, linguist proficiency, dialectology, linguistic origin analysis, and linguistics. As long as the proof of truth is necessary to be done through linguistic data analysis, that is where the forensic linguistics will find its function as one of the analytical tools. The case analysis using forensic approach. In the video, I'm using case murder of Jenny Nicole. The Nicole family living in Richmond, North Yorkshire, England. She worked at a grocery store and she played guitar in a local band. On June 13, Nicole told her parents that she was going camping and that she wasn't going to come home that night. On July 4th, her parents still had not heard from her and they became worried. On July 8, the police interviewed 45-year-old David Hudson, an unemployed husband and a father of two. David said that he had never met Nicole and he had no idea where she was. The police were certain that he was lying. Nicole had attended high school with David's two daughters. There were rumors that Nicole and David had been in a sexual relationship since Nicole was 14 years old. The rumor first emerged when Nicole was in high school. The day after the police interviewed David, 2 text messages were sent from Nicole's phone to 2 of her friends. Then 5 days later, her father received a text message from her phone. This message was sent when the phone was over 400 miles away in Jedburgh, Scotland. The police continued to interview David Hudson and he admitted that he did have a sexual relationship with Nicole. He said it started when she was 16 and they only had sex 5 times. In July, David was arrested for perverting justice and he was released shortly afterwards. 3 days later, David's attempt suicide survived. After the 3 text messages, Nicole's phone stopped sending out the text. The police thought that they weren't written by Nicole. The most logical explanation for the text message was that Nicole had been killed and her killer wrote the text message to throw off the police by making it look like she was still alive and chose to disappear. In November, the police upgraded the case to a murder investigation. They had forensic linguistics professor Malcolm Coulthard, who helped exonerate Derek Bentley, look at the text message. He compared the 3 text messages that were sent after Nicole disappeared to 11 text messages that were written by her and 100 text messages that were written by David, along with 2 suicide notes that he wrote. The suspicious text data. This is the copy of the data set. On the right, we can see suspicious text. This is the text had been sent from Jenny's phone right after the disappear after Jenny, and on the left known as Jenny Nicole. This is the text sent by herself. Could have found that the person who wrote the text message misspelled the word. They left out the second F. The writer of the text message also spelled the word M-I-T-A instead of M-I-G-H-T. Also, instead of writing myself, the author of the text wrote myself. Finally, the person writing the text spelled their construction like ain't and didn't without upstroke. So Nicole didn't make those errors when she wrote, but those some errors appeared in the sample written by David Hudson. The police also found out the day the text messages were sent. David had hired a car and the trips were long enough to get him to the areas where the text messages were sent. The police also discovered that David and his older brother Robert had constructed makeshift cabins in the moors. In one of the cabins, the police found Nicole's DNA along with a CD player and a teddy bear that belonged to her. The police learned the weeks leading up to her disappearance, Nicole had developed a relationship with David's older brother, Robert. Robert was unaware that David and Nicole had a relationship. In May 2007, nearly 2 years after Jenny Nicole disappeared, both David and Robert were arrested. Robert was eventually released and cleared, and David was charged with her murder. David denied killing her. The police didn't have any evidence that David killed Nicole, like the murder weapon. In fact, at the time of this video, her body has yet to be found. David became very jealous whenever he saw Nicole talking to another man. The police think now the night that Nicole disappeared, she went to spend the night with David in his makeshift cabin. During the night, David found out about her relationship with his brother and his niece. He probably killed her on the night that she was last seen, or early the next morning. He disposed of her body somewhere, possibly the moors. When he realized that the police were onto him, he hired a car to drive him to the areas where he sent the text message to make it look like Nicole was still alive. In conclusion, a jury found David Hudson guilty of murder and he was sentenced to serve a minimum of 18 years in prison. I think that's all from the forensic video. Thank you for watching and goodbye.